Original Sketches by Thomas Worth, 1867. I'm Adam Douglas from Peter Harrington, and I'd like to show you these sketches. They're bound in this very smart later binding, red Morocco, and the reason they're so smartly bound is there's something worth preserving in here. Thomas Worth was one of the leading artists, comic artists of the late 19th century in America, and he has drawn a series of sketches which cover a cruise in 1867 in a private yacht, the Evelyn, and they're all members of the New York Yacht Club. And here's the skipper. And as you can see from the pictures, this is an era when amateurism was still prevalent, and the part of the pleasure of the pictures and part of the pleasure they took in the cruise is the amusing situations that they get themselves in. Here's the man trying to comb his hair in the cramped conditions on board, and here they are setting out. And it's before yachting became a sort of quasi-professional sport. And here they are in the morning. They're all, one of them is breakfasting on gin and tansy, which is a pretty potent mix, so might have affected his ability to steer. And they're sort of like an American three men in a boat. They're amusing sketches, La Siesta, or Dan taketh his snooze under difficulties, with people teasing him by tickling his nose with a feather or a straw through the window. And the acquisition of drink is quite heavily featured. Most of them are, there are 36, most of them are uncoloured pen and ink drawings, like this. Here's Charlie's weakness is revealed as lovely woman. In trying to help them on board, he got in the swim himself, and there he's hauling himself back on board. And once again, they're provisioning the boat in Newport. And the skipper waking up in the middle of the night. The yacht was called the Evelyn. It belonged to a New York insurance man called Edgar E. Holley. And these are his friends, one of whom was also at some time a good friend of Mark Twain. Some of the sketches are more sophisticated. This is a watercolour here with showing the fog in the Sound, a close shave going from New London to Greenport, and that's rendered in watercolour. Another one here in watercolour. And here's Dan Sloat, who's Mark Twain's Dan in Innocents Abroad. So he's featured in a couple of humorous American works of the period. Very charming illustrations, full of humour and showing the kind of yachts that were owned by rich men and raced, but before the yacht clubs turned into there we are, the trail of the Evelyn, the bottles behind the yacht as it sails along. So a very charming thing. It's almost as if it were the illustrations for a book, although no book was published, but it gives a rich narrative of the whole trip and lots of attractive drawings. And there's one of the yacht in a full storm. So a very charming thing from a very talented comic artist of the American 19th century. There are full details of this and of all our other books on our website.